الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى. أما بعد، قد قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فإذا قضيت الصلاة فانتشروا في الأرض وابتغوا من فضل الله واذكروا الله كثيرا لعلكم تفلحون. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: التاجر الصدوق الأمين مع النبيين والصديقين والشهداء والصالحين. صدق الله مولانا العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم، ونحن على ذلك لمن الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Respected friends and elders, for the past quite a few Jumu'ahs, we've been discussing about the topic of finding barakah in our lives. The reason why this topic is so lengthy and there's so many different aspects to it is because barakah is something that every single person wants. As we discussed about the importance of barakah, how to find blessings in a person's life, and as I mentioned, barakah is not only limited to a person's life or a person's health or a person's wealth, but it's inclusive of all of these things. It's inclusive of a person's life, it's inclusive of a person's wealth, health, everything. So if a person finds barakah, if a person finds the blessings of Allah Ta'ala, then they'll be successful and they will find the help of Allah Ta'ala in everything. Whereas on the other hand, if a person doesn't have barakah, that person may find the same amount of money, but he'll lose out and that money will be dissipated or it will leave very quickly. As opposed to if a person were to have barakah in that wealth, in that health, Allah Ta'ala would assist and Allah Ta'ala would put blessings in that person's life. And so the first topic, or the first lecture I gave on this topic was regarding the importance of earning halal, or the importance of earning in halal income. And there's one hadith. I didn't speak about the blessing or how to find barakah in that, but there's a hadith of Rasulullah SAW, which I'll mention quickly today. This is the 11th way of finding barakah in a person's life. We'll talk about it quickly and then we'll move on to the next point. Right? Because we already spoke about the importance of earning halal. And we spoke about the different reasons why we should earn halal and how important it is for us to earn halal. And so, how do we find barakah in earning halal? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, he says that the world is full of greenery. The world is full of sweetness and greenery. The dunya hulwa means sweet. The dunya is sweet and it's green. The one who takes the dunya, the one who goes after the dunya, بِحَقِّهَا, with its rights, meaning fulfilling the rights of the dunya. Fulfilling the rights of the dunya, بُورِكَ لَهُ فِيهَا. He will be blessed in that dunya. What does it mean? It means that a person, he goes after dunya, he earns a livelihood, but he understands the boundaries. He understands that he doesn't give up his deen for his dunya. He understands the priority. That deen always comes first. Our religion always comes first. So when it's time for Jumu'ah, we leave our school, we leave our work, we leave our business, we leave everything, and we come for Jumu'ah. This person, he understands that concept. That it's important to go and strive for dunya, but it's not more important than deen. Dunya is not more important than deen. So the person who goes after the dunya while maintaining its rights. How also can a person maintain the rights? Is the way to be honest in his dealings, the way to be truthful in their approach, and so on. And so if a person maintains these activities, maintains this behavior, then he'll be blessed in this business, in this barakah, and he'll find the blessings of Allah Ta'ala in this venture, in this business. On the other hand, on the other hand, there are certain people who go deep and who are drenched or who are involved so deeply in the dunya, right? And they abuse it, right? earn the dunya in a manner that they're not supposed to be earning. How? They lie, they cheat, they abandon their fara'id just to go after the dunya. Those are the people, Allah Ta'ala, He says, لَهُ النَّارُ Rasulullah says, لَهُ النَّارُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. For him will be the fire of Jahannam at the day of judgment. Right? This goes to show that a person earns the dunya in a halal way, not foregoing religion, not foregoing deen, then that person will find barakah of Allah Ta'ala. On the other hand, a person, he allows his dunya to come into his deen. He allows his dunya to be higher on the priority list than his deen. Then that person will not find the blessings of Allah. On the other hand, he'll find the fire of Jahannam. Right? So it's important that we earn halal. Now, earning halal, see, the thing is, earning money is not very difficult, right? It's not difficult for earning money. It's not difficult to get rich. Right? There are so many avenues to get rich, especially nowadays. You find many different avenues of earning money. Now, the important thing that you and I we need to search for is earning halal money. How we can earn halal money. And even earning halal money, even that, right? There are still many avenues of earning halal money. Unfortunately, even there, some people, they're not honest in their dealings. They're not honest in their business. They're not honest in their jobs. And so that's when you'll lose out on the barakah of Allah Ta'ala. You'll lose out on the blessing of Allah Ta'ala. So it's important that even if we do have a halal business, even if we have a halal income, we should make sure that we're being honest in that halal job. We should always maintain our honesty. We should always maintain our integrity. Despite whichever job we may be in, always maintain your honesty and integrity. So the Prophet ﷺ, when he speaks about honesty, he says that alaykum bis-sidq. He says that you all must be honest. فَإِنَّ الصِّدْقَ يَهْدِي إِلَى الْبِرِّ. For verily, truthfulness leads towards righteousness. When you're honest, this will lead towards a good lifestyle. It will lead you towards a righteous lifestyle. وَإِنَّ الْبِرَّ يَهْدِي إِلَى الْجَنَّةِ. And righteousness leads a person to Jannah. So truthfulness leads a person towards righteousness, and righteousness leads a person towards Jannah. وَمَا يَزَالُ الرَّجُلُ يَصْدُقُ وَيَتَحَرَّى الصِّدْقَ حَتَّى يُكْتَبَ عِندَ اللَّهِ صِدِّيقًا. And a person continues to be truthful and search for the truth. A person continues to be truthful and searches for the truth, and he'll be written in the sight of Allah Ta'ala as a Siddiq. He'll be considered as a Siddiq in the sight of Allah Ta'ala, the one who's always truthful, one of the highest levels of people. One of the highest levels that people can attain is the level of Siddiq, which Abu Bakr, he had this title from a Siddiq. Nevertheless, we will not go into why he became Siddiq, right? But we all understand Abu Bakr, he was known as Siddiq. This was because of his honesty, this was because of his affirming. This was because of him affirming the Prophet ﷺ, despite the munafiq, despite the mushrikeen trying to persuade him against or dissuade him against believing in Allah and believing in the Prophet ﷺ. Nevertheless, so Rasulullah says, you must be truthful. Truthfulness leads to righteousness. Righteousness leads to Jannah. And a person will constantly be truthful and searching for the truth, and that person will be written amongst the Siddiqeen. On the other hand, the person, وَإِيَّاكُمْ وَالْكَذِبِ, you should stay away from lying. Because lying, فَإِنَّ الْكَذِبَ يَهْدِي إِلَى الْفُجُورِ, lying leads to other sins. When you lie about one thing, you must lie and you must commit, you must cheat, you must do so many other things. And moving from there, وَإِنَّ الْفُجُورَ يَهْدِي إِلَى النَّارِ, obviously, sins lead towards Jahannam. وما يزال الرجل يكذب ويتحرى الكذب حتى يكتب عند الله كذابا. And a person continues to lie and he continues to lie one after another. He searches for different lies to make, and that will lead to him being considered as a kadhab, as someone who's a perpetual liar in the sight of Allah. So it's important for us to speak the truth, and it's important that we abandon all forms of lying and dishonesty. Right? And so this concept of being honest, right? Being honest in all deeds, being honest in all ventures, being honest at all times. This is not only for business, but the honesty in business is very important. Honesty in business is very important because what happens in business or trade or in our work In our jobs, what happens is oftentimes people lie. Very frequently, people lie. People lie about different things. People lie about how much or any defects in an item. People lie about how many hours they put into work. People lie about so many different things. And so we must avoid that type of lying. We must always try to avoid that type of lying. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, this is a hadith al-khutbah, the hadith I mentioned in the khutbah, he said, التاجر صدوق أمين. التاجر الصدوق الأمين. He says, the truthful, honest businessman. The truthful, honest businessman, مع النبيين والصديقين والشهداء والصالحين. On the day of judgment, he'll be with the prophets, he'll be with the siddiqeen, he'll be with the martyrs, and he'll be with the righteous. All you have to do is be honest in your job. You have to be honest in your business. If you're honest, you'll be with that high level. As we mentioned, I believe the previous dua, right, that our deen does not, actually this wasn't here, but nevertheless, our deen does not command us. Our deen is a beautiful deen. Our religion is an amazing deen. The more you learn about it, the more you fall in love with our religion. And so you find that Allah Ta'ala, He doesn't command us to abandon all luxuries. He doesn't command us to go live in the mountain. Right? Although some people, they call the areas that we live in, they call it mountains, right? They call us, we live in the boondocks, supposedly, right? It's all these the boondocks, supposedly. Wallahu alam. But nevertheless, right? So, At-Tajir Saduq al-Amin, the businessman who is righteous, the businessman who is honest, he'll be with the Nabiyyin, with the prophets, with the Siddiqeen, with the Shuhada, and of course the Salihin. So it's amazing, just being honest in our businesses will find all of these blessings of Allah Ta'ala. Now, honesty is not only for our businesses. Honesty is not only for our jobs. Honesty, we must teach to our children as well. We must be honest, and we must also teach honesty to our children. Most of us sitting here are our parents. So we must ensure that when we teach our kids, when we raise our kids, we must raise them to be honest children. We must raise them to be righteous, of course, good children, but at the same time maintaining their honesty. And of course, we have to, when we do teach them, we must of course stress the importance of being honest. But along with that, when we do stress about the importance of honesty, we shouldn't punish them. Right? We shouldn't force them to lie. Number one, you should not force or you shouldn't push your children to lie. If you know your child did something wrong, right, you should, of course, speak to them about it, but you should not force them to lie. Right? And this is, of course, going into an entirely different topic in its own. But I just wanted to mention this, by the way, that when we teach our children honesty, we must make sure that we don't force them to lie. You must make sure that you teach them the importance of speaking the truth. And when they do speak the truth, you should not punish them. When they do speak the truth, you should not punish them. If, for example, they do something wrong, you ask them, "Did you do this wrong?" And they say, "Yes, I did it." Say, "Okay, that's it. You spoke the truth, nothing is going to happen." Yes, of course, this goes into an entirely different conversation. But nevertheless, always speak about honesty with your children. Make sure that they understand honesty. In this day and age, it's very easy for children to lie. It's very easy for them to lie. But you should stress the importance of being honest, and you should make sure that when they are honest with you, you award them and not punish them. You should award them when they're being honest, and you should not punish them when they're being honest. That way, this stress about the importance of this encourages them to be honest, despite whatever may come to them. Right? Especially at a younger age, we should make sure that they're always being honest and not punishing them for their honesty. Nevertheless, moving on, the Prophet ﷺ spoke about honesty in many different ways, and he spoke about how important it is to be honest. And in one hadith, he speaks about the characteristics. He speaks about the traits of the munafiqeen. He mentions that he says that there are 4 characteristics. مَنْ كُنَّ فِيهِ كَانَ مُنَافِقًا خَالِصًا. The one who has all 4 of these characteristics, he is a pure munafiq. He's a pure hypocrite. Very important hadith. The one who has these 4 characteristics is a pure munafiq. On the other hand, وَمَنْ كَانَ فِيهِ خَصْلَةٌ مِنْهُنَّ, the one who has any of these characteristics, he has a characteristic of nifaq in him. He has a characteristic, he has a trait of nifaq in him until he leaves that characteristic. And these 4 characteristics are: number 1, إِذَا تُمِنَ خَانَ. when he's given amana, when he's given something as a trust, when he is spoken to in trust. For example, sometimes people speak to us that I trust you with this conversation. Even though sometimes they don't tell us that I'm trusting you with this conversation. But there's another hadith, the Prophet says, Al-Mustasharu mu'tamanu. He says that the one who is sought advice from, he is trusted. So when someone asks advice from you, automatically that conversation that conversation must be respected, and that conversation must be taken as amana. That this is a private conversation. I must not go and tell others. I must not go tell my wife. I must not go tell even my husband about these types of conversations. This was a private conversation. So whatever it may be, that's one aspect of it, but others as well. Someone gives us something, can you hold on to this for me? Or can you look after this for me? That person, he doesn't abuse that trust. So either tumina khana, when he's trusted, for example, even in our job, we're trusted to fulfill our job diligently. We're trusted to fill in our hours diligently. And so we must be honest in that. We're trusted to speak the truth. And so when we are in our business, we should speak the truth because we're trusted to be able to speak the truth. So one of the characteristics of nifaq is when he's trusted, he goes against that trust. And second is a person who when he speaks, he lies. This is a perpetual liar. A person who's constantly lying. This is a characteristic of nifaq. I'll go through them quickly because we have a lot more to speak about. The third, when he makes a promise, or when he promises something to someone, he breaks that promise. He says, I'll do this, and then he never does it. I'll follow up on this, he never does it. This is the characteristic of nifaq. And lastly, when he argues with someone, he is wicked, meaning he goes out and he speaks lies and so on. When he's arguing with someone, just to prove his own point, he will say whatever it takes. When he's arguing with someone, he must be right. Even if he is in the wrong, he must be right. So he will lie if he has to. He'll speak bad about others if he has to, but he will maintain his own status, and he will not speak, or he will not admit his own wrongdoing. These are the four characteristics of a munafiq. If any one of us, and you and I, we need to think, myself, I need to think that do I have any of these characteristics? And if I do have any of these characteristics, I must leave it. I must do some self-reflection. I must reflect over my own actions. Am I a person who has these characteristics? And if I do have any of these characteristics, I must leave them. I must abandon this evil trait. We all know the grandson of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Hassan radiallahu anhu. Hassan radiallahu anhu was once asked by someone. He asked him, what did you learn from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Can you imagine? This is Hassan radiallahu anhu, the grandson of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Asked him, what did you learn about, or what did you learn from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? He says in one sentence, he says something. He says something amazing. He says, Da'ma, he says, I learned from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Da'ma yuridu ila ma la yuridu. Such an amazing, profound statement. He says, leave that which puts you in doubt to those things which don't put you in doubt. Da'ma yuridu ila ma la yuridu. Leave those things which are doubtful to those things which are not doubtful. So whatever you are doubting, that is this okay? Should I do this? Should I not do this? Is this right? Is it wrong? What happens? Generally, what do we do? We say, I'll do it, then I'll find out. Yes? Oftentimes, this is our philosophy in life. I'll do it, I'll eat the food, then check the ingredients. Right? This is our philosophy. I already bought it. Now I must consume it. Then later on, I'll ask someone, is it okay to do this? Is it okay to eat this? Right? This is our philosophy in life, unfortunately. Right? So, and then he says, He says that speaking the truth, this is contentment in a person's heart. When a person is honest, when a person speaks the truth, he knows and he's comfortable. His heart is happy. He knows what he's saying. His heart is content. On the other hand, when a person lies, that person's heart is it's always restless. His heart is restless. He knows that he spoke the lie. He knows that any day he will be caught. He knows that any day he will be caught for that lie. And so therefore, we leave those things which are doubtful to those things which are not doubtful. This is the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And of course, the topic is what? The blessings in life, or how we can find blessings in life. And so to find honest or to find blessings in our lives, we must be honest. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Al-bay'ani bil-khiyar ma lam yatafarraqa." He said that the two businessmen, they have the option to choose so long as they don't separate from their gathering. This goes into fifth, and we will not speak about this. But the second part of the hadith, it says, فَإِنْ صَدَقَا وَبَيَّنَا بُورِكَ لَهُمَا فِي بَيْعِهِمَا. If the businessman, if the buyer and the seller, if they speak the truth, right? If they speak the truth and they explain themselves, بُورِكَ لَهُمَا, they will find blessings of Allah Ta'ala in their transactions. They'll find blessings of Allah Ta'ala in their lives. On the other hand, when كَذَبَا وَكَتَمَا مُحِقَتْ بَرَكَةُ بَيْعِهِمَا, a person, if the buyer and seller, if they lie and they cheat, Allah Ta'ala will take away that barakah. How many people, unfortunately, they're selling an item and they write they don't write any of the defects. They don't write any of the defects. They say, I'm selling it, such a great product, like new, and so on. This is how we sell it. Right? This is a new product, or in the box, whatever we say, just to sell that item, just to sell that, whatever we want to sell. That car, whatever we want to sell, we'll lie, we'll cheat, we'll say whatever we need to be said, just to get that item sold. A person may make that sale. Let's say you sell that car, you'll make your money, but there'll be no barakah in it. That money let's say you made $1,000 profit. That money somehow or another will lose it. Something bad will happen, some accident will happen, some health crisis may happen. You'll have to spend $1,000 in lawyer fees, whatever it may be. Somehow or another, Allah will take that money away from you. You'll find no barakah. On the other hand, when you're honest in your business, you'll find that Allah will put barakah. Even if you get $100, you'll find that $100 will push you to such degrees. That $100 will be stretched so far that even that $1,000 cannot be spent. And so it's extremely important that we're always honest and we always avoid our lies. I'll conclude on this one very beautiful hadith. The Prophet ﷺ, he says, and I want everyone to listen to this very carefully. He says that if you guarantee 6 things, right? Rasulullah is saying, this is a hadith quoted by Imam Ahmad and Imam Hakim in his Musnad, and Imam Ahmad's Musnad and Imam Hakim's Mustadrak. He says, if you guarantee 6 things, I will guarantee Jannah for you. 6 things, guarantee Jannah. Right? So this is not my guarantee, this is the guarantee of the Prophet ﷺ. 6 things and you're guaranteed Jannah by the Prophet ﷺ. So listen very carefully. He says, the first, أُصْدُقُوا إِذَا حَدَّثْتُمْ. When you speak, you must always speak the truth. That's the first. When you speak, you must be honest and you must speak the truth. وَأَوْفُوا إِذَا وَعَدْتُمْ. And when you make a promise, you must fulfill your promises. وَأَدُّوا إِذَا تُمِنْتُمْ. When you are given amana, whatever amana that may be, you fulfill that amana. Very simple thing. Number 4, وَحْفَظُوا فُرُوجَكُمْ. Right? You protect your private areas, meaning obviously from any types of haram. You don't do anything haram. Number 5, وَغُضُّوا أَبْصَارَكُمْ. You lower your eyes. You conceal and you lower your gaze. You lower your gaze and you don't look at those things which you're not supposed to look at. Number 6, وَكُفُّوا أَيْدِيكُمْ. And you prevent and you safeguard your hand, or you hold back your hands. The scholars explain, meaning you stay away and you refrain from doing dhulm. You don't oppress anyone else. You don't oppress anyone else. These 6 very simple things they're actually very difficult, right? The Prophet also explains it very easily, but these are very difficult concepts. If we understand these concepts, then we guarantee Jannah. It's amazing. The Prophet also did mention the other fara'id, right? Of course, we would think that the Prophet also would mention, salah, zakat, these important, huququllah. But the Prophet also spoke about huququl ibad, the rights of people. Right? So these 6 things. 1, when you speak the truth. 2, when you promise, you fulfill your promise. 3, when you're given amana, you fulfill that amana. 4, you don't do zina. 5, you lower your gaze. And 6 is that you don't do ghulum on anyone else. You do these 6 things, the Prophet ﷺ himself guarantees Jannah. So you and I, we should try to be amongst these people who have all of these characteristics. We must avoid those 4 characteristics of nifaq that we spoke about today. Each one of these, we could have had separate lectures just on each hadith separately. But suffice to say, hopefully we'll be able to have a holistic approach and understand all of these different things. So we must bring in these 6 characteristics of a Jannati. We all want to go to Jannah. That's every single one of us wants to go to Jannah. And so we must adopt the characteristics of a Jannati. If we want to go to Jannah, we must bring in the characteristics. If you don't bring in these characteristics, there's no promise of the Prophet ﷺ. There's no guarantee that we'll go to Jannah. So we bring in these 6 characteristics. At the same time, we avoid the 4 characteristics of munafiqeen, and inshallah we'll find that Allah Ta'ala will not only put barakah in our lives, not only in this world, but Allah Ta'ala will take us very smoothly through Jannah. Allah Ta'ala give me, Allah Ta'ala was all tawfiq for understanding practice. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.